Welcome to another Real Dad Movement Daily Revelation, where we talk about failure and failure as a whole. I did an episode on why dads fail and the specifics behind that. And look, the underlying principles do ring true for many people from all walks of life. But as a father in the modern world, you and I both know it's a tough landscape to navigate and find our way through. And we often get the feeling that we're alone, we're lost, we're isolated, and we don't know what to do or who to turn to. But the underlying foundation of what failure is, what it means, really comes down to you and ultimately your resilience and your persistence. See, for me, I don't completely believe that you've failed if you get down 8 times, you get knocked down 8 times, but you get up a ninth. But ultimately, it comes down to how you see things. See, if you have regret in your life for X amount of time between 2020 and 2023 or 2010 to 2015, ultimately that's failure, because yes, you've knocked down, you've gotten back up, you're still breathing, you're still here, but did you change? Did you do something? Did you execute? Which is why I don't mind the term fail forward. Like, yes, I'm going to have a few hiccups, a few learning curves. You can call them learnings if you want. We have in our group in RDM, we have wins and challenges, wins and learnings, not wins and losses or wins and failures. And it depends on the person. Everything's context, right? And a purpose behind it. And failure could mean one thing to someone, one thing to someone else. Some people might love the term failure, others might not connect with it, and they might withdraw and pull away, and it might knock them for six. But ultimately, it's when you've given up. Realistically, it's when you've given up. And when do you give up? How do you dictate if you've given up or not? If you're not moving forward anymore. You're still breathing air, you're still working, your family's getting older, things are happening. The rhythms and the cycles of life, the earth, the universe, whatever, it's all moving. But what about you? Are you moving? See, for me, failure is not necessarily when you stop moving, but it's a period of time when there is a realization when you have actively chosen not to move. There's a difference, mate. There truly is. Because I've had plenty of tough moments when I have felt like a failure. I've not been growing. In fact, they're the most traumatic periods of my life. When I was this overweight fat boy from 8 till 16 years of age, I wasn't happy. And they just reached a point at 13, really, but it took me a few years. Obviously, I was a big boy. I had enough. Like, starting to obviously get interested in the opposite sex, and no girls would really talk to me unless I was in the friend zone, of course, and got bullied and picked on, and used to look at myself in the mirror and spit in my face and abuse myself, and call myself many, many names that I won't say here, as well as carve into the desk that I had of myself. And look, I had a loving family. My parents were amazing to me. My brothers protected me and looked after me. I had two older brothers, and yeah, of course, they hazed me and picked on me as well. But that was the yin and the yang, really, or the pros and cons of having brothers. But ultimately, I wasn't happy, and I needed to do something, and I started to move forward. Was it a failure? Well, no, because I've come out the other end and I've grown. See, it's only a failure if you've actively chosen to give in, give up, and no longer expand or grow in your life, either in that field, that area, or in your own life across the board. Now, there is a difference, because you are going to have tough moments. You're going to have periods where you feel like shit's hit the fan, you're getting punched in the face repeatedly. I've had that recently, and it's not easy to handle and cop, especially when you're used to being on top. Yeah, we all have challenges, but I'm a winner. I don't stop and I won't stop and I don't lose. But saying those words means one thing when you get knocked down again and again and again and again in ways where you not thought possible. It can be a confronting experience, and I experience them just as much as you do, regardless of the level of strength internally in the framework or what we cop or handle, or our emotions, thoughts, and beliefs. And when you're clear on that, you can then resonate with the fact that, hey, I'm not a failure, or I'm failing forward, or I'm going to learn from this failure. It's a learnings, or it's a challenge. It's a character building moment. If I get up, if I move forward. And that's what I spoke about before when it comes to understanding. Like, I don't need to understand all the hardships in your life. I can connect and resonate with you and have empathy with you. But all I really care about, to be honest, mate, when it comes to you and your well-being and the dads inside of RDM who work with us, is what are you going to do about it? What can we do to move forward? What can we do to break out of this, to be more, to live more, to get your mojo back, to break out of the rut, and to live life on your terms with a higher strike rate on your terms more often than not? Now, ultimately, when it comes to failure, it comes to simply giving in, giving up, and not moving forward. And I'm huge on the opposite. Never give up. There is always a way. There is always a choice. There is always an option and an opportunity for you if you choose to see it. If you are so willing to open up the scope of what's possible and focus on potential solutions instead of being driven into the ground by the problems. And if you do that, not easy, consistently though, build a level of optimism in your way of being what you do, not just consciously, but subconsciously, you will break ahead, you will break through, and you will break free and get on top and get ahead once and for all. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll hit you with another one soon. Cheers.